She's a winner.
And welcome to the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show, where you take enlightened entrepreneurs, coaches, and influencers together to discuss cutting-edge topics in the world of relationships, culture, business, and spirituality. And here's your host, Miss Carol Boston.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show. Those of you who follow me know I'm your weather girl. Oh my gosh, if you're in Louisiana and you're watching me and that hurricane is coming, please comment and let me know that you're safe. That's where my family is, most of my family. I don't have a big family, it's small. But you can look behind me and see the weather here. We've had rain off and on, but it's pretty nice right now. Of course, we're in rainy season, but there's another tropical storm that has an 80% chance of formation out in the Atlantic. So we are right in the throes of hurricane season. How many of you feel like in your life or your business, you're right in the throes of a hurricane, right? And they give these hurricanes names. This one is Francine. What are you naming your hurricanes? How are you labeling them? We're going to be talking a little bit about that today. We're going to be talking about trust, self-trust, boundaries. It's going to be a cool day. So let me know where you're chiming in from. Oh, you know what? I did not even stream this to Facebook. So Aruba, can I do that real quick? Can I go ahead and stream it even though we're live? Let me know in the chat. I don't know if that'll mess things up. Yes, you can. I'm going to stream real quick to my Facebook page. Get some people on here talking to us. Do you have boundaries? Hang on, folks. I'm going to be right there. All right. We're getting ready to go live on Facebook. So if you're seeing me live on Facebook, chime in. Let me know that you're here with us today. I know 2 or 3 people showed up just from my Facebook page last week. We had great conversation. Jeff, who just had a birthday yesterday. And for some reason, it was on my calendar for the 16th. And for the 10th. It's kind of strange, but I'm glad I saw it on Facebook and LinkedIn. And I knew it was yesterday. So maybe he's off still celebrating somewhere, but he's a good guy. Let me know if maybe September is your birthday month too, just like mine. So let me know in the chat if it's your birthday month. I'm going to be turning a big 65. Maybe we could have a little party next week on this show. How about that, Aruba? We'll have to think about what we could do that would be extra special and fun on Wednesday because my birthday's on Saturday. That could be a fun time. So what are you excited about? What's going on in your world? Or you feel like you're just facing hurricanes, right? Here's the thing, folks. Nothing has meaning except that which you give it. So you get to look at how you label things, how you judge things, how you call things in. Because nothing in this whole world, nothing has meaning except that which you are choosing to give it. I mean, think about it. If you took all of us off of this planet, there's no human beings on planet Earth. There's still going to be a ton of gold and a ton of diamonds on Earth. But guess what? It wouldn't have any value. There'd be nobody here to give it any value. It would just be sitting there. Same thing. How do you label what goes on your life? Is it that sucks? Or, what can I learn from that? I'm just curious. Or, ooh, that was a learning lesson. Or thank you for showing me that. And so often we label things as black and white, right or wrong, good or bad. So I was just on a call with a new client who has a conference coming up. And so she's wanting to grow her business. And I'm asking the questions, right? How many people have signed up? What did you charge them? What did the venue cost you? What is going to be your net profit? Let's plan on what we can do to get more people in the room, all these kind of things. And she goes, I know I did it wrong. I'm like, wait a minute. It's your business. There is no wrong. It's your first event. There is no wrong. You get to make up your own rules. You get to have your own learning lessons, right? You get to be on your own journey. How many of you know that we're on a journey? The Be Do Have Leadership. It's called TCP program I'm in. Jim Fortin talked the other day about his brother-in-law, who's a shaman. Jim was going through a really rough time a few years ago. He was upset about something. And his brother-in-law looked at him and said, Jim, this might make you mad, but it's the truth. Everything is, everything always has been, and everything will be fine. Think about it. Everything is, everything always has been, and everything will be fine. How is that? How is that, Carol? Because everything is one thing. Everything is energy. Your spirit inside this bag of bones that we all live in on planet Earth, right, is energy. Guess what? Once energy is created, it doesn't die. Your spirit continues on. And your spirit was somewhere before it got in this body. So everything must be fine because your spirit will continue to live on. Hard concept for a lot of people. But it all comes down to what? It comes down to trust. Those of you who follow me know that I've often said that I believe God only gave me the lamplight for my feet because my job is to trust in the process and take the next step. Just the next step. I've been candid and I've said, oh my goodness, if God had shown me the whole ladder, the whole picture 5 years ago of all the things that I would go through, survive, overcome, and thrive so that I could turn around and help someone else, I'd have quit. I'd have said, oh yeah, I'm not that strong. How many of you have ever said that? Put it in the comments. Yeah, I don't think I can do that. But we don't know till we go through the fire, right? They put iron in the fire to sharpen it, right? That's how they sharpen knives. That's how they sharpen swords. So if we could take that perspective that every fire, obviously we're labeling it a fire or a problem, every fire that we go through is to sharpen us, to make us better, right? And oftentimes we don't even know what for. And then it shows up and it's like, oh, that's why I went through that. That's why I learned that lesson, right? I just got distracted. The neighbor across the way has these beautiful bright yellow alamandas growing on her patio. They're gorgeous. I like flowers. Trust. When you trust, you get to create boundaries. Now, oftentimes, people think that we set boundaries to keep other people out. Not true. We set boundaries to take care of ourselves. We get to learn that no is a complete sentence. Come on, how often, especially as women, we want to defend our position. We want to give a story instead of just saying, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Years ago, even before I knew that no was a complete sentence, before I'd done enough work, this is like, gosh, 20 years ago, my friends knew that if they called me up to go out to the bars or do something fun at night, and I would say no, and they would try to cajole me and talk me into it, and they wouldn't let it go, and I would just say no. And over time, they learned, because I was consistent, they learned that my no meant no. But what they learned is that when I said yes, they knew for a fact I was going to show up, that my word was good. So folks, when you have boundaries and your no is solid, your yes becomes more powerful. What do you think about that? Put that in the comments. Your yes has more power. How many times do you waver? Right? So instead of putting a stake in the ground, you draw a line in the sand. Well, let me tell you something. The wind can blow that line away. It just can blow the sand away. A line in the sand is not going to serve you as a boundary. It gets to be a stake in the ground. Right? I have a stake in the ground. I'm not a drug user. I have a stake in the ground. I am not a smoker. I have a stake in the ground. I don't cheat in relationships. Those are solid stakes in the ground. Immovable, not going to move. Not going to move. But oftentimes we will say it's a stake in the ground. Or no, that's a boundary. I drew a line in the sand. And then we what? We acquiesce. We give in. Sometimes it's just this one time. What happens to that just one time? Tell me, Aruba, right? It becomes a pattern, becomes a habit. And we let ourselves off of the hook. That's why it's almost next to impossible to have self-accountability. We all get to have a good coach or mentor for accountability. I had a new client 2 or 3 weeks ago, I'll never forget. She goes, "Oh, you're going to hold me accountable." Absolutely. Absolutely. It's one of the things you've invested in so that you can get to the next level. Folks, when we let ourselves off the hook, we erode self-trust every single time. Every single time. And oftentimes we don't do things because we think we don't trust the other people involved. We don't trust the outcome. We don't trust ourselves. And the challenge is when we're attached to the outcome and what it has to show up like, we just limited and narrowed the possibilities for a solution. How many of you have ever done that? Oh, when this happens, when it does this, and it looks like that, I'll be good. Really? What if it could look like something else and be that much better? We've said it before, when we hold on so tightly to what we think is ours, our hands aren't open to receive all that God in the universe has to give us. What's passing us by? Boundaries. Boundaries keep us safe. Boundaries give us direction. Boundaries help us grow in self-trust. Boundaries help us take a stand. This is who I am, and this is what I stand for. What do you stand for? Put it in the chat. What do you stand for? So most people say, I can tell you what I'm against, Carol, right? I'm not so sure what I stand for, but I can tell you what I'm against. Think of how often we focus on the negative, what we're against. I have had such a full day. I wish I had reached out to some people that are consistent on this show and show up, because you know me, I love having a dialogue and not a monologue. Sometimes people show up and they just go, "Preach, Carol, preach." Not a preacher, right? I'm just here to encourage, enlighten, and lift you up. Jeff and I are going to be chatting next week, and Max talking about the changes to the show. It's going to take a little time, right? New intro, new outro. New back end stuff that Ms. Aruba gets to do. Changes change. Sometimes things change in an instant. Sometimes things take time. Are you willing to wait? Are you willing to get in line and stay in line? Because here's the thing, folks. Everybody starts at the back of the line. There's not a single entrepreneur that started out on day one and made $1 million on day two. It didn't happen. Everybody starts at the back of the line. The challenge is, are you willing to get in line and stay in line? And how long are you willing to hold the vision for what you say you want? And are you clear on what you want? Clarity's power. I've asked clients before, what do you want? Then I don't know. I just don't know. Guess what? I've been there. You can put a Yana in the chat for me on that one. Right? I know how that feels. To sometimes we feel lost. Sometimes we don't want to say what we want, right? For a myriad of reasons. Oh, we might never get it. People think we're crazy. It's a failure. I was just on with a new client, and we were talking about her fear of other people judging her, right? Getting out on social media, getting visibility, showing up, doing Facebook Lives. So I said, I'm going to tell you a little story. I said, you're at work, you're in the hallway, and you're standing in the hallway and you're holding a cup that's full of coffee. Somebody comes by, jostles your arm. Coffee spills out of the cup. Tell me why coffee spilled out of the cup. Why did coffee spill out of the cup? I don't remember the answer she first gave, but it was hysterical. She started laughing. I started laughing. Folks, coffee spilled out of the cup because there was coffee in the cup. If there had been tea in the cup, tea would have spilled. Had there been water in the cup, water would have spilled. When someone judges you or says something negative to you, what is it? It's inside of them. That they won't look at it, so they're going to put it off on you. Other people's judgments and opinions of you are none of your business because they're not about you. They're about them. And that's why I'm excited that we're changing the show. Crack your code, reframe your life. Because when you get to learn other people's codes and learn your own code and how you operate and show up in the world, how you operate under stress and duress, right? You get to change things for the better. You get to learn that it's not personal, personality, right? And so often, because we all have egos, right? We want to take it personal, even though it's just personality. So we're going to be talking about code breaker technologies. We're going to be talking about the bank system. Has 2 patents. It's the only scientifically validated tool to understand somebody's buying values in 90 seconds or less. 90 seconds or less. How much would it help you in your business? How much would it help you in your conversations, in your relationships? To know the other person's dominant code, their buying values. Well, what do you mean, Carol? I'm not selling anything. Sure you are. Every conversation you have, you're either enrolling somebody in your vision or you're getting enrolled in theirs. Folks, I've said it 100 times or probably more. Sales makes the world go round. Love just makes the ride worthwhile. Sales. The art of influence, the art of enrollment. It's in every conversation. Come on, how many of you try to enroll that 3-year-old to get toilet trained? Come on, think about it. How many of you try to enroll that 7-year-old to brush his teeth every night without a fight? How many of you parents try to enroll your teenager and coming home on time for curfew? What if you knew their code and you knew how to speak directly into their code to get them to do the very thing you wanted them to do? Powerful. I'm excited about adding it to my business. Oh my gosh. Hey, light worker Christina Will Spears in the house. How are you, Miss Christina? We've been talking about boundaries today. We're getting ready to read from the Ayanna Van Zandt book. It's my second week in this new place, and I hope I'm looking at the camera. Sometimes I feel like the camera's too high. But if not me, you get to see this beautiful background here in sunny South Florida. Christina says, great topic. Yeah, we've had some good stuff going on. About boundaries aren't about keeping other people out. Boundaries are about honoring and respecting ourselves. We talked about how when you own your no, your yes becomes much more powerful. We've talked about how often as women, not just women business owners, just women, right? We're raised up to smile pretty, don't make waves, keep everybody happy. And so we think we get to tell a story to defend our position. You don't. You don't. If that other person needs a story, tell them to make it up. Because it has been proven that they are far more likely to believe a story they make up than any truth you tell them. I remember one time, this is years ago, my dad was mad about something, trying to get me to tell him something. I don't know what it was. Christina said, love that. It is usually a reflection. Exactly. And I don't remember what it was. And I just kept saying no. Finally, I turned around and I looked at him. I said, do you want a story? And he goes, yes, I want to know. Da, 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 da. And I just calmly looked at him and said, make one up. You're far more likely to believe your story than any truth I tell you. And I walked off. He was speechless. But it's true, folks. Even if you tell them your truth, they typically walk away, well, yeah, I don't believe that. I believe this. Well, there you go. Make up your own story. Right? Let's jump into Miss Ayanna Van Zant before we run out of time. We're talking about boundaries. We're talking about owning your no. You don't owe people a story. And Ayanna says, I experience and express the power of trust because I realize I can never prove who I am with how much I do or how much I give. Oh my God. That used to be me. Overgiven relationships, never get my needs met. Workaholic at work, almost destroyed my health twice. Overgive what? Trying to prove, trying to earn love. She says there comes a point in time when you must know that everything you have already given or done is enough. This is not something anyone else can tell you. You must know it. Also know that if you continue down the path of trying, you will reach the point of diminishing returns. This applies more specifically to relationships. Remember, life is a process of giving and receiving. When you give with love or in joy, you must receive in equal measure. This does not mean that you should measure your giving. What this means is that your giving must be received with the same intensity with which it was given. In those relationships and situations where you give with no sense of satisfaction, either you are giving for the wrong reasons, or what you give is not being received. It is being hoarded. It is being denied. It is being dishonored. Once you cross the line of diminishing returns, if you continue to give, you run the risk of being depleted in ways that can be irreversible. Almost destroyed my health. Yep. To continue giving without receiving doesn't prove anything except that you know how to be taken advantage of. Ouch. Who felt that one? Give with love. Give in joy. Give of yourself for the joy and love of giving. Just be aware that when your giving is received and honored, you must be justly compensated. Oh my goodness. I have had 3 coaching conversations with 3 different clients in the last 2 days about receiving value for what you bring to the table and not just giving it away. I'm going to say that again. Just be aware that when your giving is received and honored, you must be justly compensated. Until today, you may have allowed yourself to stay in unbalanced, unhealthy relationships where you were required to give beyond the point of what was necessary or wise just for today. Consider those experiences where you are experiencing a diminishing return on your mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical investments. Today, I'm devoted to analyzing the relationships in which I am not being compensated for the investments that I make. Are you being compensated? I had a business owner a couple of years ago, paid me in full right up front for the full 6 months to work with me. Said, I know you, I know your work, I love you, I want to work with you. 4 months into the work, I'm the one that's a little frustrated because he's not producing the results that most of my clients do. But he said he was doing the work. So I asked him one day, you know what he said? He says, Carol, I want my business to grow. I just don't want to ask people for money. He didn't feel he deserved it. He didn't understand his value. He didn't understand that what he was bringing to the table was valuable to other people. Oftentimes, we don't bring things to the table to serve others because it comes so easy to us. We take it for granted. We don't think it has value. I did that when I started out in coaching. I didn't want to be a sales coach. I just had 26 years of sales in Fortune 100 companies, right? I helped every one of my clients with sales. They wouldn't have doubled and tripled the income in their business if they didn't have sales, more sales, faster sales, better sales, right? I got to look at what was underneath that. How are your sales going? If they're not going the way you want them to, DM me. Let's have a conversation. Let's find out what it would look like to get you and your business to where you really want it to be. Who are you being inside your business? We get so caught up in the doing, right? What I got to do, what I got to do. Oh, should I do this? Should I do that? There comes that should word. You know, I hate that word. Right? We take that out of our vocabulary because it's always about being wrong. It's your business. You get to create it. You don't have to model it after anybody else. So when those thoughts come up for you, oh no, I shouldn't be doing this. You get to ask the question, according to who? According to what? Who said you shouldn't be doing that? That's one of the reasons we take that word out of our vocabulary. It's about being wrong. How many of you ever said, oh, I can't do that? That wouldn't be right. Who said? According to who? According to what? Often we have rules that we've lived our lives by that used to serve us and serve us well. They don't serve us anymore. We get to let those go. Are you willing to let those go and make a change? If you'd like some support in that, let's talk. My clients get great results. Come crack your code. Let's reframe your life, your business, and your relationships so that the last quarter of 2024 can be your best quarter of the year. Who's with me? We're going to wrap it up a couple of minutes early today. Once again, my name is Carol Boston. I am known as the Queen of Reframe. I teach and train on empowering questions, how to get the answers that you really want. Female business owners hire me to help them know their value, own their power, and advocate for themselves. So they rise up and become the lioness leaders they were truly created to be, multiplying their income and their profits. Is that you? Would you like that to be you? Private message me or put it in the chat and I'll reach back out. Let's talk. Before we close out, Christina says, I better get my glasses. This was something that I have been working on in the last few years. It was too much about making others happy and not aligning with my own boundaries. The more I became aware, the more this changed. Congratulations. Yeah. First, we get to be aware that before we can even recognize and make the change. Kudos to you, Christina. And thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for participating. Come back next week. We might be having a birthday party. From me to you folks, go in peace. Make it a great day. Make sure that you help somebody smile. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show, brought to you by Life Coaching Today magazine, empowering your health, your business, your community, your life. Check out the latest issue today at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network asks you to please subscribe, like, comment, and spread awesome.